What is shaking YouTube? This is your host, Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and like always, welcome back to the show. Today we have another eBay sales video, but before we get into that, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to the members of the channel, my mighty militia. I want to thank you guys for supporting the channel. It really means a lot. With that said, if you're interested in becoming a member, the link is in the description of this video. I also need you to do me a favor, smash the like button for me. We're trying to get this video out there to everyone in the community, and like always, if you're not subbed up yet, I don't know what to tell you. You guys are greatly missing out. With that said, let's get into this month's eBay sales video. Okay, so let's start off taking a look at this book right here, one of my favorite covers of all time. It is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 121 in a CBCS 8.5 with off-white to white pages, this book being signed by Gerry Conway. Gerry Conway has one of the better signatures out there from a presentation standpoint, but regardless, I wanted to see how a CBCS 8.5 would compare to a CGC copy. We all know that GPA only tracks CGC graded books. Either way, this book sold at the ask of $624.95 on June 24th. Let's see what GPA says. The last sale of an 8.5 CGC signed by Gerry Conway, believe it or not, was $950 way back in November of 2021. That is quite a big drop. I know 2020, 2021 was the height of the comic book market. Either way, I think this person paid $600 and change for a great signature. The only thing I'm going to ask this person is this: are you going to go ahead and get that beautiful new JSA label from CGC, or are you going to keep it at the old CBCS label? Up next, let's jump back into the Bronze Age and a book that is starting to pick up a little bit of steam from what I've been seeing. Here we have a copy of Werewolf by Night number 32 and the first appearance of Moon Knight. This one in a CGC 5.5 with white pages. Now this copy sold on June 25th for $789. So let's see what GPA says. You can see that last sale has been recorded at $789. The 90-day average, though, $659 on 9 sales. So we do have a bit of a bump. Is this book going to come back? Has this book started its ascend? I cannot say for sure. All I know is that I start to see people looking on live sales for this book, and that's always a good sign. Back to some Amazing Spider-Man, because that's what's selling right now, guys. Here we have a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 20 in a CGC 3.0 with off-white pages. You all know what this book is, the first appearance of the Scorpion. This copy sold on June 24th for $505. Look at this sale. I just sold a raw copy, roughly estimated at 4.0 for around $300, so someone got a screaming deal on that one. Let's check GPA. The last sale, according to GPA, was only $375 just last month. The 90-day average, again, $375 because we only had one sale. 12-month rolling average, $376. So far, why is someone paying $505 for this book? Can't be the off-white pages, so I'm not really sure. In 2023, the average is $413. 2022, guys, $548. So tell me why someone's paying 2002 prices for this book. Am I missing something? I don't know. Either way, that's why you have to do your due diligence when buying comics in this market. I promise you guys, I'm not just selecting Amazing Spider-Man keys, but I could not pass this sale up. Here we have a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 1, the second appearance of Spider-Man, the first appearance of J. Jonah Jameson and the Chameleon, and not only that, it is signed by the late great Stan Lee, and to boot, it is also a CGC older label, and that's what I'm seeing right now. A lot of these old label books are going for a little bit of a premium. This one, a nice copy to boot. There is some water damage at the top left hand corner of the book. Either way, the book was listed for $17,900 but actually ended up selling for only $15,000. I know that's a lot of money, but for a Stan Lee ASM1 and a 3.5, I'm not too sure how many are out there. Either way, I think I want to own this book. Let's see what GPA says. And as you can see, that last sale has already been recorded this month. The 90-day average, again, was only this sale. Same for the 12-month average. We had one sale and a 3.5 signed by Stan Lee in the past year. We have to go back all the way to 2023 average for one other sale, which actually ended up selling for $12,600. Now, don't forget, we have the tax man on eBay in most states. So someone paid up to own this book. Was it because it was an older label? Was it because it's a Stan Lee signed book? I don't know. But whenever you can get a grail, when you have two copies that sold over $2 2 years in that grade, I always think it's a decent deal if you 100% want to own the book for the long term. Up next, we have a book that we have not talked about on the channel in quite some time. It is a copy of Fantastic Four, the first appearance of the Silver Age Submariner. Now, this copy is a CGC 5.0 with cream to off-white pages, so take note how page quality really matters. I always have people asking me on the channel how page quality really affects the price of the book, and I can tell you to a lot of collectors out there, it really does matter. This book actually ended up selling at auction for $2,424. So let's check out GPA and see how far this book has really fallen. That last sale, as you can see, has been recorded for this book. The 90-day average right around the same, $2,487 on just 2 sales. The 12-month average, $3,061 on 8 sales. In 2023, the average is $3,342. This book has come down about 30% in just a year. In my opinion, it's still falling. Go check out the 2022 average, a whopping $7,600 on just 1 sale. Insanity. This book still continues to come down, even with the Submariner in the MCU. I did not like how they portrayed him in Black Panther 2. Regardless, if you're a big FF fan, you want to own the book. I always say, though, with this book, try to get it on the cheap. There's no reason to pay up for this book, even though it is a Silver Age first appearance. Not a lot of people are interested in this key, in my opinion, when they really should be, but not for the price that it's going for right now. So yeah, whenever I see this book sell, we have to talk about it because this is one of the hottest comics on the market right now with the X-Men coming to the MCU. Here we have a copy of X-Men #1, the origin and first appearance of the original X-Men team. This copy in a CGC 2.5 with off-white pages to boot. It sold on June 25th for $5,250. Let's check out what GPA says. The last sale has been recorded at $5,250. The 90-day average still right at that price range, $5,280, just on 4 sales in the past 3 months. Not too bad considering this is a Silver Age book. The 12-month rolling average, $5,615. But look at how many copies just sold in a 2.5, almost 20. That is a lot over the past year in just 1 grade. 2023 average, $6,240 on 17 sales. In 2022, the average was $9,147. This book's taken almost a 50% haircut, but I always say if you're going to go ahead and buy a book you love, like X-Men #1, it is always worth it to own this book for the long term. If you're just trying to spec on this book, I'm going to tell you right now, I think you're going to get hurt if you sell this book within the next 5 years. Either way, $5,000 for a 2.5 seems right around the average for right about now. Hopefully it stays there over the next couple of years. Well, what do you know? Another signature series book. I'm telling you guys right now, these books with signatures on them, especially the bigger signatures like Stan Lee, so on and so forth, they're starting to pick up a little bit steam. Here we have a copy of a book that has been beaten to death over the past 3 years, Fantastic Four #48. This one in a CGC 1.5, signed by Stan Lee. I gotta tell you, looking at this book, it's an old label like we talked about before. Does it look like a 1.5? I gotta tell you, this book presents pretty nice for a 1.5, and it is signed by Stan Lee. It actually ended up selling for only $676.66 at auction at 42 bids. I'm gonna tell you right now, I think this is a steal. Even though it's a 1.5, this person could actually crack this book out, press it, resubmit it for a higher grade, in my opinion. With that said, they will lose that yellow label, but they could also get the new JSA verified label, which to me looks better than the original yellow label. Let's see what GPA says. The last sale of a 1.5 signed by Stan Lee was actually this book at $677. No other copies on GPA within the past 2.5 years. To me, that makes this a no-brainer. You don't have to go ahead and buy higher grades of books if you just want to own them. But this one for $600 and change for a nice presenting copy of this book signed by Stan Lee, I would have been all over this book if I had saw it earlier. Up next, let's talk about another massive key, but to boot, it's a low-grade massive key, and I'm all about affordability here on the channel, and I would have jumped at this book if I saw it. It is a copy of Fantastic Four #1, the first appearance of the Fantastic Four team, the one that started off for Marvel, and on the cover of this book, it does say to Michelle, but it is signed by Stan Lee. This book sold on June 24th with the asking price of $6,900, but only ended up selling for an insane $3,000. Could you believe that? That this book, an FF1, the book that started off for Marvel, signed by Stan Lee, only sold for $3,000. I understand this book is a 0.5 and it has a giant chunk missing from the top left-hand corner of the book. I do not care. The book is complete, it presents pretty well, and it is signed by Stan Lee. This is a piece of history, and to get this book for only $3,000, somebody, in my opinion, got a steal. Let's check out what GPA says. You can see the last sale of this book was way back in April of 2023, right at the asking price, $6,800. We don't have a 90-day average. We don't have a 12-month rolling average. We have to go all the way back to the 2023 average to get a sales price of $5,647 on 2 sales. In 2022, the average was $8,120. That is insanity. So imagine paying $3,000 for a book that was signed by Stan Lee. The GPA data that I gave you guys is a book that's not even signed by Stan Lee, so that drives up the value even more. This book would look phenomenal in a new CGC JSA label, and I'm happy for the buyer who actually picked this up. You got a steal. And the last book we're going to be taking a look at here today is this book right here, one of the hottest books out there right now. Every time I'm on a live sale, someone's always asking for this book, and I don't see a lot for sale, at least on live sales or on consignment pages for that matter. Here we have a copy of Tomb of Dracula number 10 and the first appearance of Blade. This book is CGC 8.5 with off-white to white pages, sold at auction for $1,300 on 32 bids. Let's see what GPA says and how this book is doing. The last sale, this book has been recorded at $1,300 just this month. The 90-day average, $1,374 on 9 sales. The 12-month rolling average, though, $1,510 on 25 sales. That is a lot of copies selling for this one in an 8.5. In 2023, the average is $1,984 on 18 sales, and in 2022, the average is $2,971, almost a 60% cut, and still going down, unfortunately, according to GPA. What I have been seeing, though, is that this book in mid to high grade has been going for decent prices. So if you're looking for this book and are a long-term holder, be careful right now because it is still coming down in certain grades. But if you're a long-term holder and love the character, you may be getting a steal at some of these prices. So that's it for this month's eBay sales video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. A lot of great books are selling on eBay, and there are some deals to be had. But with that said, the deals are few and far between from what I'm seeing. If there's a specific book you guys are looking for and it's sold over the past month, I will cover it on the next eBay sales video. Just drop it down in the comments. Just has to be over $500, okay? With that said, I want to remind you guys, I do have some keys available for sale on my Instagram page. So if you're not signed up for Instagram, you guys are definitely missing out on some deals. Not only from me, but from other dealers out there in the community. With that said, don't forget, every month here, we're going to be covering the Elite Comics 11 consignment page, and I'm getting you guys actual prices of books that sold over the prior month. So definitely, if you're not on Instagram, you got to join right now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.